an important project for the economy of Laval and Montreal East which will benefit future generations. Indeed, the Highway 25 Completion project is the first infrastructural public-private partnership in Quebec. As mentioned previously, the A25 highway project is not limited to the construction of a bridge crossing Rivière des Prairies. In fact, it's a total of 7.2 kilometers of road that must be built in order to connect the existing highway on both shores. Over a dozen major structures will be built to connect to roads, span wetlands, or cross streets. A very important overpass is Structure 8. This structure was required to cross a large wetland in Laval between Rivière des Prairies' north shore and Highway 440. This wetland is home to diverse wildlife as well as a colony of blue frogs. It is impossible to have a central support pier on Structure 8 because it would encroach on the wetland. Therefore, the structure was designed to be fully self-supported. With two foundations of the overpass located 60 meters from each other, steel beams were placed to support the deck. The installation of these beams was a particularly delicate operation. For stability purposes, we first had to group the beams together in pairs, thus doubling the load that had to be lifted by cranes to put them in place. As always, safety being a priority on the site, all workers who were working at elevated heights had to put on their harnesses. We then held a final meeting prior to commencing the installation of the girders to ensure that all workers understood their respective roles in order to successfully and safely complete this operation. To lift the assembly, a 500-ton capacity crane was required. The crane's capacity had to be such that it could lift and move the beams to the first pier before the second crane, with a capacity of 250 tons, could be used. The second crane was of lower capacity since it would never have to take the entire weight of the steel beams during the operation. The installation of the steel beams was performed through repetition of successive steps. We lifted and moved the beam to then place it on the pier. Then we moved the slings to the lifting end of the beam and were able to lift and move it again. This cycle was repeated until the beam was placed and fixed to its support on the foundations. A full day was necessary for installing two sets of beams. The remaining beams were placed on the following day. Structure 8 consists of a total of 6 beams. This ends our third webcast about the progress of the completion of the A25 project. We hope that you enjoyed watching and invite you to come back and regularly check this website, or you may subscribe to the RSS feed to remain at the forefront of the evolution of this project. An Uber Media production made possible by Concession A25 and Kiewit Parsons.